you.
Hi, welcome back to Looking at Hollywood. You know who we have on the show today? You won't believe it. We have Maurice Chevalier. Honestly, Jimmy Durante, we have him on the show today. You know how we have all these people on the show? Because we have one of those consummate impressionists, a man who can do everyone and has done them everywhere, from Vegas to Atlantic City, starred as Durante on a pre-Broadway show. This guy is terrific, and you're going to love him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Caesar. Let's eavesdrop with Skippy and Jimmy Caesar now.
Jimmy, but really, actually from Buffalo, New York?
Yes.
17, your child, 17 kids?
Yes,
Your mother had 17 kids?
Yes, well, see, my father was a producer.
He certainly was. He
And
was
Catholic.
Yeah,
He was a good producer.
I was the 16th in the family, and
He was a barber? He was a barber, was he?
no, he had a grocery store.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, with a family that size and being born just after the Depression, having a grocery store, he needed that to feed all of us. And
How did you get into show business, Jimmy? Living in Buffalo, New York.
yes,
Town casino.
Well, you know what happened when I was about 11 years old. Now you figure from a large family, and you're also from a large family. We have the same
Am I?
ethnic.
No,
Yes,
I'm four.
Well, but still, I think
not large.
because we're both of Italian descent,
okay.
and we're familiar with large families.
What nationality are you?
And,
Italian? What,
Italian.
Siciliano, Napoletano, or Calabrese?
I'm close to Napoletano. It's called San Fele, a little village in the province of Potenza, right next to Naples.
Because I'm half Italian, which is, I'm Siciliano.
Siciliano, yes,
see.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
go
We're
ahead.
San de Valais.
Right.
But now, see, I'm doing it right now. I had a very bad speech impediment. I stuttered very badly.
Did you really?
Very badly. And now you'd figure with a large family that you're talking to so many people, you would be fluent, you know.
Right.
Well, what happened was I was very much an introvert, and I found out after coming back from a movie, if I had seen, now remember, I'm 11 years old, seeing like Gregory Peck. Right. And I came home and I started to talk like Gregory Peck.
At 11.
And I didn't stutter. And then, of course, there was Stan Laurel, who had a kind of a slow way of talking, sneaking up on the consonants. And I found that I didn't stutter when I did these impersonations. And so I spent a lot of time alone, and I, without realizing it, I had developed an act. Because at the time...
At 11, you didn't know what you were doing.
Right, who knew? I was just having fun with myself. I was talking to the one person who'd listen to me. You know?
That's great.
And so like on radio at the time, we had shows like Life with Luigi. Do you remember that? On radio,
Right.
J. Carroll Nash. And I would do the whole broadcast like, dear Mamma Mia, Luigi, oh, it's a Pasquale. Hello, Luigi, my friend, Luigi. You know, and I would do all the voices.
Right.
And then I started, in our church we had what they call the Holy Name Society.
Right.
And I was asked if I would do an act in this.
Right.
And I did Al Jolson, because the Jolson story was so big.
Right.
And the impersonations. Then, through the grace of God, I got invited to perform at Elks Clubs, and I was only about 11 and a half, 12 years old.
You were doing Elks Clubs at 12?
Yes, getting $5 a show. I was getting $5.
What's some of the people that you were doing at the Elks Clubs?
Gee, who was I doing in those days? Oh, well, I loved, now these are people that, if you watch American American movie classics.
Yeah.
Remember the big heavy-set character actor, always the
Sidney
father of the
Greenstreet?
bride?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Eugene Paulette. He
Oh,
always
yes,
played,
yes.
remember, you're not going to marry my daughter. Nobody's going to marry my daughter.
Right.
Eugene Paulette,
Right,
and
right.
of course Pa Kettle just passing by. How do? You know, and Stan Laurel, and of course our buddy who just loved you, Skippy. He never stopped talking about how kind you were to him. The beloved Robert Cummings, Bob
yes.
Cummings,
He was-
and that was
you're
one of
very-
my first impressions.
Yes.
Yes. I feel, of course, one thing, Randy. Remember in Kings Row, and before I knew it, I was working, and in fact, a buddy of ours, a mutual, Boris Vanoff,
Right.
who's today an agent and a great agent, he played the saxophone, and I would honcho jobs. I was only 13. I would walk
13,
in
I love that.
right
Isn't
in
that
these
great?
little saloons, and
You know, you didn't work saloons at 13. You worked at Elks.
saloons. No,
Saloons?
now I went in, and my mother, may she rest in peace, knew how nervous I was. She knew that the only place I was really comfortable was while I was performing.
But you're still nervous, Jimmy.
Yeah, right. But you want to know
We're gonna get him
something?
some
I'm
calm.
relaxed. This is relaxed.
Is this relaxing? Okay.
This is relaxed. But then Mrs. McVan's nightclub in
Buffalo, yes.
I walked in one night, and there was a piano player played in between shows
Right.
in the area where the line of girls would work.
How old were you then at
I was
Bands?
now 15.
Okay,
15.
There's a great club
And
there.
yes,
Great club.
and,
Every act in show business used to go to Buffalo and work McVan's.
Yes, that was the spot. That
And
was
then when you became a star, then you worked the town
casino, right? But still, McVan's. Do you know that Eddie Cantor played McVan's?
Did he
Misha Auer. Like at that time, I had the honor, and another friend of yours, who many people do not know, once did stand up. Charles Durning.
Charles Durning.
Charles did, yes, he
Yes,
did
oh, he's
WC
old vaudeville,
Fields.
though. He's old
yes.
vaudeville.
Oh, yes,
He's
you know, he did
vaudeville.
WC
Of course.
Fields. Well, at any rate, now while playing at, I got hired, 3 shows a night, 7 nights a week. The shows were 9, 12, and 3, and I was going into my freshman year of high school. But my mother, rest her soul,
3 shows a night. I
she
love
hid it from my brothers, and I managed. I wore horn-rimmed glasses during the day. It's almost like it's something that you'd write in a script.
Right.
And I paid attention at class. Then I'd take a nap after school. Then I would get ready for my show. Well, while there, the Marshall brothers, who you knew, Jerry
very
Marshall,
well, of
very
course.
well, they broke up in Buffalo. They were a well-established comedy team. And I looked just like the partner who looked 16.
Right.
So just like as in the Jolson story,
Right.
the man come over to talk to the parents. Jerry Marshall came over to talk to my mother and father, plus 5 brothers that were home at the
Protecting
time,
you.
and they were, and
Yeah.
talked them into the fact that I could go on the road. And Abby Gressler signed, of course, because of Jerry Marshall.
Right.
Now, I was the comic in the act. I was only 16, and he was probably 31, 32,
Right.
which made me look a little older and
right.
made him look younger.
Right,
So
right.
today people have said, Jimmy Caesar, God, he must be 73, 74. No, it's the truth.
Now,
It's-
Jimmy, you and I met. We met in Germany. Well, no, we met in
way before Germany,
yeah.
way before that, because
In the
Germany was in
50s,
the 60s and the 50s.
We met in the 50s.
Yes, and I never missed your show. I would slip out to see your show. You would slip
I
out to catch,
remember
because we had
seeing-
overlapping.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Then, of course, in fact, just recently, I had the honor of playing the Dunes in Vegas with the Teddy Phillips Great
Right,
Concert in the
right.
Sky. And
What a great title. Great
isn't
Concert
that, yes,
in the
yeah, what
Sky.
it is, it's a concert being put on in heaven. Now think of the cast you can have.
Right.
Now Teddy Phillips being the masterful band leader and the great
Right.
orchestra. We had Duke Ellington, the Millers, the Dorseys, and Jelly Roll Mortons. Just name them all.
Right.
And I did all the showmen, the old timer showmen like Al Jolson, Jimmy Durante,
Right.
of course, Eddie Cantor, Ted Lewis. I did a whole thing, but I mean with the whole big
Right.
charts.
Right.
Maurice Chevalier,
Which is
and it was a thrill. But what I was thinking, I was talking to Joe Delaney, a mutual
Right.
friend of ours, who is the voice of Las Vegas.
He really is, isn't he?
Yes, he very, and Harry
He's
Seabold.
still around. Some people think he's still not around.
That's right, but
Marge McGlory, she looked at it and she said, is he still around in Vegas?
Yes, he's the
still
man.
around.
He's the
Really?
voice.
Yeah.
And Harry Seabold, who's the entertainment director, we've known him as far back as like the 50s. He's one of the true staples.
Right.
Well, we were talking about how it was 40 years and 3 months from when I was at the club that I played the Bingo Club Vegas the first time. 40 years and 3 months. The Bingo Club was the spot where they were building the Sahara in the backyard.
Right.
Do you remember? There was
Right,
4
right,
shows a night, and we had a great time. And God, first of all,
go ahead.
no, I have to say, Skippy, I never miss your show.
Oh,
You
Jimmy,
know,
you're sweet, you're sweet.
and this always sounds like I'm apple polishing, but I have to say something. There are few people in this industry that, and you know this because I've said this in print, I've said this every opportunity I
you're
can.
sweet.
Your concern for the performer. Your concern for the performer. There's many a name that can thank Skippy Lowe.
Oh, no. You
for
know,
the
I'm still doing the
encouragement.
showcases at the Comedy Store on Saturday
The
nights.
only one that's
and-
doing it the right way and the kind way.
What is the right way, Jimmy?
The
Actually,
right
I don't know.
way-
I'm just doing it. I
The
have a
right
lot of...
way is what is in your heart. And what started you doing that? Knowing the talent that didn't get the exposure.
Right.
And you also not only gave them the exposure, but you would go all day. I'd see you going crazy, determined to bring in the best agents. Now, please, you're going to come tonight. You told me you'd be here.
I try.
And you brought them in, and you did it.
But the trouble is, Jimmy, at the Comedy Store, these comedians, some of these comics are so dirty. They use those 4-letter words. And it upsets me because in our school, in our era,
we were trained different.
We were trained different. And there are some comedians, I get them on the side, I say, look, try to be clean. Because that's the only way you are going to develop an act.
Well,
you
you
will
know-
not develop an act if you are going to use
Right,
4-letter
right,
words.
right.
That's shock value. Do
Well,
not.
I
I try to do the best I can with that. Some
had
some listen and some don't.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Well, I had a great experience, and you know because you lived through it with me, when I hosted the Comedy Store when it was called the Funny Farm.
That you're the one
and-
who originally started that.
And well, no, I didn't really start it. What I did
but
was I
Sammy Shore.
insisted them.
You-
No, it was Sammy's Place and
Right.
everything in Mitzi's.
Took
but
over
there
after.
was some little difficulty that had occurred, and I was brought in to host the room.
And it called
And
Funny
I
Farm.
insisted on each of the performers getting paid. Now I said,
did? Really,
yes.
Jim?
This
That's
is
nice.
probably there's few things I've done in my life. I said because we come from that background. where we had
because
to
we don't like
fight to get
entertainers
paid.
going up there for
Right.
nothing.
Entertainers don't like getting
It makes them feel. It makes them
Exactly.
feel. Yeah, of course, get something. Exactly.
Right.
I agree with you.
And so they were paid, and then by the way, shortly after that, many of the point I wanted to bring out was I told them, I said, now you may consider me a censor, and I don't like censors. I don't believe anybody
Right.
should be censored. I said, please, I ask one favor. The crowd that we're going to be getting are very nice Beverly Hills people. People you'll be thrilled.
It doesn't
are
matter if
catching
Beverly
you.
Hills people
But
or
just,
not.
No,
but the
because
people are people.
they were representatives of TV and
I see.
everything.
Yeah.
I says, be as wild as you want to be. Be it, because it was 1977.
Right.
I says, but call me a square. I just don't want the words.
That's exactly
I
it.
don't want the words.
Just do an act.
And they did it. And you know who graduated from that? George Wallace. The wonderful comedian
right.
opens
Yeah.
for...
Do an act.
Opens. He headlines now today,
Doesn't
George
it upset
Wallace.
you to go in clubs today, these comedy clubs, and
It's-
see these young kids
Yes,
trying to be comedians?
Yeah.
And are they comedians? I
No.
don't think they are.
But you'll still
But-
see the right, but there'll always be
Be a
those
few.
wonderful, great
Yeah,
talents
yeah,
that you
yeah,
say, wow,
yeah.
I just saw Stardust.
So you've been working in Vegas.
Yes, yes.
And you tell me about the show, though. What are you going to do with the show? Are you going to
Well,
take it on the
hopefully-
road or what?
No, that's what we may be going back to Vegas.
Oh.
In fact, I'm talking. You know, I'm quite interested in speaking about Margie McGlory because I
Right.
think she
An
would be
impressionist, yes.
an incredible because she does all of the. You know, we were kids. We were little kids, Margie and I, at the Palace in New York. In the 50s.
In the
Were you-
50s, right.
Because my manager was the
'Cause I met
booker.
her in Paris. Then
You
I saw
introduced me to her again in Paris,
Paris,
when
yeah.
we met in Germany. Gisela Gunther, remember those jobs?
Those are the days we worked in Germany, darling. American military shows. We were
Yes.
doing things. You know, Jimmy, I'd love to show a clip of let's see that clip of
All right,
Jimmy
let me tell
singing.
you what
Go
it
ahead.
is.
Yeah.
I was thrilled to have been invited to Senior Expo. I believe this was '91 in Thousand Oaks, where they brought senior citizens from all over the state.
That's
and this is one number where I get to do a bunch of the
Right.
old timers in
Right.
one song.
I'd love to see it. Okay, let's see it.
Thank you.
Sure.